with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? One of the more fun times, actually, you know what? I've been really lucky. I'm just so used to seeing a bunch of movies and then, this one's not so good, whatever, Snow White, man. I've been really lucky. The last couple of films I've gone to see in movie theaters, I've really enjoyed. So Sinners, obviously it was so great. I still think the best film of the year so far. I thought Thunderbolts was wonderful. And then I went to go see Final Destination this past week. I'm not a Final Destination fan. What a hoot.
Yeah.
What a fun time at the movie theaters I had. And I went with Anne and her sister. Anne and Ray's sister. Her name's Olive. She's not really into the horror movies, but she was hooting and laughing and yelling and stuff like that. It was a grand old time. And the results, by far, the biggest opening weekend for a Final Destination film ever, as they were projecting hopefully 40 to 45 million. Made $51 million in its opening weekend. The folks over at Variety are writing the following. Final Destination Bloodlines made a killing, made a killing in its international box office debut, scaring up $51 million from 74 markets. That's $51 million domestically. Warner Brothers and New Line's R-rated horror film added another $51 million domestically for a $102 million global start, thanks to positive word of mouth and great reviews. Final Destination secured by far the best opening weekend in the 6-film series, which began with 2000's Final Destination. With this momentum, it'll also eventually rank easily as the highest grossing installment over 2011's The Final Destination that made $186 million globally. This thing's going to make over $186 million globally by the end of next weekend. I got to tell you, as fun as the presentation they showed us at CinemaCon looked, I still didn't know if that many people would rush out to see it, given the history of Final Destination. It's not a blockbuster franchise. I mean, even if you love the franchise, it's right. It's that's just a fact. It's never been a blockbuster franchise. I could not be happier for its success. I love it when good movies get rewarded by the audience. This is a good, fun movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. And the fact that it was able to pull in $51 million domestically for a franchise that has never done those kinds of numbers, I think speaks volumes about the early word of mouth strategy that they employed, a really well executed, but not expensive marketing campaign, all right, and some terrific trailers. And they just got that perfect storm together and created this amazing launch for this franchise. Again, I couldn't be happier for it. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, BetterHelp. You know what? I think we've come a long way in how we talk about mental health. I mean, that great show Shrinking certainly helps, but it used to be something people avoided bringing up. But now, more and more, we're realizing it's just as important to take care of yourself mentally as it is taking care of yourself physically. But still, 1 in 4 Americans say that they've skipped getting any kind of help because they're afraid of getting judged, and that has got to change. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so let's talk about how therapy isn't just for people going through major life events. It's for learning healthy coping strategies, building boundaries, and growing into the best version of ourselves. And BetterHelp makes it easier than ever. They've been connecting people with licensed therapists for over 10 years, with a network of over 30,000 professionals across a wide range of specialties. It's completely online, so it fits into your schedule. No commuting, no waiting rooms, and if the therapist you're with isn't the right fit for you, you can switch at any time, no extra cost. We are all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance. This movie made $51 million. Were you expecting that big? Are you surprised? And what do you credit this huge record setting for the franchise opening to?
Well, first of all, the movie itself delivers, and when we were at CinemaCon, I like the Final Destination franchise. I mean, I think back to Morgan and Wong doing that first one. James Wong directed it, and the cast, even like Kristen Cloak, it kind of came out of the X-Files, that family, and I liked it. I liked the first Final Destination movie, and I've kind of liked all of them to varying degrees. They're fun, but when we saw that clip at CinemaCon, you could tell they're really going for the jugular. Like all bets are off. And I'm like, okay. And then I was hearing that this is the least of the kills that were in the movie. And so I'm like, they might have something here. And it doesn't surprise me now because look, horror. I've had a fun time at horror films, beginning with Companion. I really like Companion back in January. I'm like, how did they not leverage? I thought the marketing for it was terrible.
Oh yeah, they did a terrible job.
Terrible job. And
That
that
it's a
movie
great movie.
that movie deserved to have a Bloodlines opening.
Yes, it did.
And again, that was a New Line film. Same studio. It's like, why couldn't you have bring that A-list marketing game the way you brought it here? Look, all I can tell you is that because this is a New Line film underneath Warner Brothers. So is Weapons. And so same studio, and the Weapons marketing campaign so far has been really good. And I want to see that ramp up because I want to see Weapons kill it. I hope it's as good as Bloodlines is, but I'm excited that it's another win. It's 3 in a row for Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca.
I'm telling you, the narrative around those two has changed because just a couple of months ago, the whole narrative was like, any minute now, they're going to fire DeLuca and Abdi. They're gone. And then we got the near $1 billion film in Minecraft. Then we got the staggering success of Sinners. And now we got a record-breaking $51 million opening.
And these aren't $200 million movies either.
The narrative has changed.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And, you got Superman coming in July, which is still under the Warner umbrella. You've got Weapons in August. They must have something in between.
I can't wait for that movie, for Weapons. That's going to be so good.
I can't wait either. And I just, again, horror, I love good horror. Love good horror. And I think it's great for everybody involved.
Chris, as our horror aficionado,
I was gonna say, why are you even coming to me?
but I am curious, as somebody like who's not necessarily a big horror fan, this thing just made $51 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to when you look at everything surrounding the film? And are you surprised by that big of a number?
I mean, I feel like this has had a great marketing campaign. I think they've done a really great job making sure everyone knew this movie was out, talking about it, building off of everything else from the franchise. Because shockingly, I have seen Final Fantasy, the first one. And I got to
Final
read the
Destination?
Final Destination, excuse me. Final Fantasy. I'm playing that video game at home. Final Destination.
Although I like the movie, Final Fantasy.
Advent Children's great. It's a good one. That's more of my jam than this kind of stuff. But Rob also hooked me up with Jeffrey a couple years ago for a fundraiser, so I got to read the original script with a bunch of people, where it was way more.
That's right. You read that on stage, right?
Yeah, we did it on Zoom.
On Zoom, right? Yeah. Jeffrey Reddick.
Yeah, he's so nice. And so these films really connect with a deep fear of just anything and everything can kill you. And also that death is inevitable. And so it touches on two very different fears of just anything can be weaponized against you, but also death is not something you can run away from. It's going to happen no matter what. We're never going to escape it. And I feel like these films have really done a great job of playing with those fears and concepts. And this just looked not only super scary, but fun. And I'm seriously debating if this is one I will go see.
I think you can.
I think it sounds fun.
Look, it doesn't qualify as a horror film. Yes.
Yeah.
But when I came out of it, I did my out of theater reaction. I'm like, I didn't feel like I just stepped out of a horror movie. I felt like I just stepped out of a bonkers action film, a comedy action film more than, because it's legitimately very funny.
Yeah.
As well. And there's, without giving any context, the line I laughed the hardest at, and if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you'll have no idea what this means. But the one character says, "Is that why he always wanted to play catch?" I laughed my ass off. And the humor in it never felt forced or anything like that. And you know what? You had a friend who saw it really early who mentioned to you that the opening 10, 15 minutes are insane.
On the Space Needle.
Totally delivers. The first 15 minutes are crazy. I'm like, where do you go from here?
Hometown horror, man. The Ring, the remake of The Ring, and Final Destination. Seattle's a place to set great horror. Man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, guys, there's some great movies to go see in theaters right now between Final Destination, Sinners. By the way, don't sleep on The Accountant 2. It's great. Go and see The Accountant 2.
It's doing pretty well as well.
Thunderbolts, which, just is zooming in on 400 million now. I mean, there's a bunch of really good stuff out there. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? A Final Destination Bloodlines. I can't believe I'm saying this, made over $50 million on its opening weekend, and it's easily by far the biggest opening for the franchise, will become the biggest box office success in the franchise history. What do you attribute that to? Did you see the film? If so, what did you think? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, jump down into the comments section below and leave your thoughts there. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.